Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see 12th and 13th October current affairs, guys. So let us see important topics, and before getting into the topic, just I want to give an overview regarding the topics that we are going to see in this class. So first topic, it is about email accounts of 12 lakh central government employees including PMO, that is Prime Minister Office, have now migrated to Zoho. So normally which kind of mails that we'll use? Normally we know that we'll use Gmail, right? So because of that we are having some data related issues. So because of this now many of our Indians, especially youth and as well as government employees, they are moving towards this Zoho mail. So you have to know about this Zoho mail, and it is very important from your governance point of view. And second topic, it is about initial findings point to Iron Age origins at new excavation site in Tamil Nadu. So this article is talking about Iron Age in India. So you may get prelims based question regarding this ages from your ancient history. And next topic, it is about tribals in Ranchi rally against Kurmis demanding for ST status. So actually here there is one group of community called as Kurmis, and these Kurmis are demanding for the scheduled tribe status. So for this move, so most of the tribals in that Jharkhand, they are fighting against this demand of this Kurmis for this ST status. So here you have to know about this Kurmi community, and you may get a question regarding that. And next topic, it is about thalassemia patients flag shortage of leukocyte filter sets, iron chelation drugs. So actually thalassemia is nothing but one genetic blood disorder, especially in state of Kerala. Thalassemia patients, they are not getting proper drugs. So here you have to know about some details regarding this thalassemia disease. And next topic, it is about Great Nicobar revives the issue of nature's legal rights. So actually this article is talking about Great Nicobar Development Project. So many a times we discuss that, and that is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. And next topic, it is about natural farming in Himachal Pradesh. So especially we have different types of farming techniques in our country. We go for organic farming, we go for natural farming, we can go for chemical based farming. And this article is talking about natural farming. And this topic is important from geography point of view and even from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology point of view. So let us see the first article, guys. Title says email accounts of 12 lakh central government employees including PMO have now migrated to Zoho. So actually this article is talking about emails. So normally which kind of emails that we use commonly? You know about this Gmail, right? So normally many people use this Gmail or any other mails that we can use. Yahoo, yes. Next other mails that you know. Hotmail. Huh? Okay, organizations have their own registered mails. Okay. So actually what is, mostly commonly many people use this Gmail, right? So what is the problem of Gmail? So if you have an account in Gmail and if you are using any apps, so if you want to register in that websites or app, nowadays what they are asking, simply sign up by Google, right? So you have to give your Gmail account or what are the mail account that you have. So have you ever seen by using any email, if you are using any website for shopping or any app for shopping, for example, if you open your Google and if you have searched for any other product like mobile phones or like any other makeup product or cosmetic product, then what happens if you open your this kind of apps like Amazon or Flipkart, so what will appear in your feed? So the image or the product that you have searched in the Google will be appeared on your feed, right? And you will be also getting certain kind of suggestions of that products while you are using Google also. Do you know that? Shop now, click here to get 50% discount, 20% discount. And even if you open that Amazon or Flipkart, then you will be getting that kind of feed whatever you have searched for that product in Google, right? That means, is there any data protection? Yes. So the problem here is there is data protection, there is issue regarding data privacy if you are using this kind of other mails. So now what government is doing that? So government want to develop our Indian based software, and it is asking our Indians and as well as central government employees to use our Indian made things. So here such kind of initiative is Zoho. Very, very important. So whenever government is coming with kind of certain kind of things regarding software upgradations, or whenever government is taking certain steps for Atmanirbhar Bharat, there is a high chance of getting question in your prelims case. And this topic is very, very important. You may get question like this. Recently Zoho is in news, what it is. They may give A, B, C to direct options. Or else, recently Zoho is seen in news, consider the following statements regarding Zoho. They may give like 3 to 4 statements and they may ask how many statements are right or which statements are right. In this way, you can get 3 types of questions. And one more type of question here is they may take examples of emails like Yahoo, Gmail, or like that, and they'll ask the country, source country. And they may also include Zoho. Zoho is Indian based. So like that also you may get match the correct answer pair based questions. Have you understood? First one is you can get direct ABCD options questions. Second one is they'll ask question in the form of statements, but they may ask like how many statements are correct. 1 statements, 2 statements, 3 statements. And this one is 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 3 only, 2 and 3 only, 4 only, like that also you may get question. That is the third type. And fourth type is match the following based questions. So in all these ways that you have to practice from this Zoho, guys. Clear? So now let us see the context why it is in news. So the email accounts of approximately 12 lakhs, that is 1.2 million central government employees in India, even including this people who are working in this PMO, that is Prime Minister's Office, also have been successfully migrated to the Zoho platform now. So because of this is in news. So why this migration happened? So this move is aligned with our India's Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. That is nothing but self-reliant India, and we are focusing on Swadeshi. That means our domestic initiatives, guys. And we are focusing on especially adoption of our Indian base, that is indigenous technology in our country. Okay, and we have to reduce our dependency on foreign platforms. What are the foreign platforms we have? Like we have Google, we have Microsoft, right? So here we have to decrease our reliance on these foreign related things, and government is focusing on developing of our own Indian based content. So for that, one example is Zoho. So where you can use this example in your answer writing. So in answer writing also you can use this, right? Whenever we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. So India is taking lots of steps. What are that? We came up with this PLI scheme, that is Production Linked Incentive Scheme, and we came up with Made in India concept. Like we are developing what are the technologies that we want from our country itself. For example, even in defense also. Yes. So in that examples, one example that you can write here is nowadays government also came up with this Zoho. So it is one example of Made in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India. So in that way, what are the examples that you are getting in the current affairs? You have to use them wisely while you are writing your answers. Clear? And this why what are the key drivers here is, first one is we have to focus on data security, digital sovereignty. So actually in the recent past, in the month of June 2025, so there is data breach happened in our country. Especially 16 billion login records of the mails had been transferred to other country. So in this today's world, especially in this 21st century, in this era of science and technology, data is an oil. So with this data, whatever we can do that. So because of this, data privacy and data security is very, very important in this 21st century. So for that, for protection, for this protecting of data of Indians, yes, we are focusing on this. And this one is we are focusing on privatization and as well as efficiency. Actually, what are the systems that are present in our country? They are outdated. So we have to go for upgradation of technology based on the present needs. So for that, we came up with this cloud-based solution now. And next important thing that you have to make a notice, it is Zoho is an Indian software company and it is headquartered in Chennai, guys. And it was founded in the year 1996 by Sridhar Vembu. And actually this Zoho, which provides a cloud-based suite of over 45 integrated applications. So actually it can provide services for 45 integrated applications, including email and including productivity tools like Zoho Office Suite. Normally we'll use this Microsoft Office, right? PowerPoint, you know this, Word. So the same way Zoho also offers that kind of Office Suite. And even we can have lots of things that are integrated with this Zoho in India. and actually it is known for Swadeshi or Indian indigenous approach, and it can be helpful for improving of privacy of data, and even it is very affordable for Indians, and as well as scalability. And if you want to use this Microsoft PowerPoint advanced level, you have to do the payment, right? So you have to buy this Microsoft. So actually the price when you are comparing with this Microsoft and this Zoho is very, very affordable actually. Okay, see this next article guys, very important article of the day. Title says initial findings point to Iron Age origins at new excavation site in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so what is the keyword? Keyword is Iron Age. So this year in your prelims you can expect question regarding Iron Age guys. So because lots of excavations are saying that Iron Age started early, very early stage of Iron Age evidences were found in this Tamil Nadu. Okay, so here in your ancient history you will be studying about this Stone Age period, right? So first you will be studying about this prehistoric age, okay, prehistoric age, and after this historic age what we will study? You will study about this IVC period, and after that you will be studying about Mauryans and post-Mauryans, right? So IVC comes under which period? Bronze Age. So as soon as after this IVC we have this Iron Age. So is there any link between Iron Age and this Mauryan and post-Mauryan period? So what is the link between this Iron Age and this post-Mauryan and Mauryan period? So what happened during this Iron Age? Tell me guys, what happened during this Iron Age? Invention of iron, and by using of this iron what they made? They made iron tools. Yes. So because of this iron tools what happened? That led to expansion of agriculture. So before invention of iron, can we clear forest that much easily by using the stone tools? It will be very difficult. But with this invention of iron tools, what happened? Expansion of agriculture started at a very fast pace. So because of this, formation of Mahajanapadas. So how many Mahajanapadas do we have at that time? 16, right? So which is the biggest Mahajanapada? Magadha, right? That means is there any link between this Iron Age and Mauryans? That means in interface, that means whenever we are moving from this IVC towards this establishment of empires and kingdoms in India, what happened between? We have Mahajanapadas. So Mahajanapadas, why we are calling them as Mahajanapadas? What are the features of this Mahajanapadas? What they have? Mahajanapadas? Mahajanapadas, what they have? What are the important features? 16 Mahajanapadas. Okay, see about this Mahajanapadas features after this class. Okay, so now let us see this article clearly. So if you see the context of this article, why it is in news? Because the first season of excavations carried out by this Tamil Nadu State Department of Archaeology at Tenkasi district has brought into light the presence of Iron Age culture close to Western Ghats in Tamil Nadu. Especially, you know, this Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. So Western Ghats is there in how many states of our country? How many states do this Western Ghats have? Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Goa, next Gujarat. Okay, so in all these states, this Western Ghats are spread, and especially very close to this Western Ghats in this Tamil Nadu, they find out the evidence of Iron Age now. So actually, recently one report had been released, and the report title is Antiquity of Iron, Recent Radiometric Dates from Tamil Nadu. And this report says that the use of iron in Tamil Nadu dates back to the first quarter of 4th millennium BC. So recently the excavations done and they got the evidences. So after we are taking that evidences, we did for dating. So in anthropology, we might have studied about this radiometric dating techniques. What are they? We have carbon dating techniques, we have uranium dating techniques, next fission dating techniques, next. Very good. How many types of dating techniques do we have? 5 or 6? Tell me those 5 at least. Phosphorus, okay. It is not potassium. It is phosphorus. No, it is not potassium. It is not phosphorus. It is potassium. Potassium dating techniques next. Organ dating methods. Next. So in that they used one radiometric dating techniques. In that class we discussed like, so for which products, which kind of dating techniques that we have to use. So products which are having carbon, one technology. Product which is having other metals, another dating technology, yes or no? So actually iron is a metal. For metal, which kind of radioactive dating technology we can use? For metals, I said on that day. Come on, think. Online students, tell me guys, which dating technology can we use for identifying of dates of metals? Did I said, can you recall? Come on, think. Bring back your memory. Read that topic today, dating technology. Okay, and they said that by using that radiometric dating technology, they said that these are the tools which had been excavated. They belongs to this 4th millennium BCE, and actually the Iron Age in India is believed to emerge between this 500 to 2000 BCE. That means around 2 million BCE. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here. But based on this excavations, why it is very important is whatever the idea that we have regarding this Iron Age India, as soon as this Indus Valley civilization is there, we had this. But this dating technology says that it is far beyond that. That means before this timeline itself, this Iron Age had been started in India. So if you see certain things, they are saying that India's Iron Age thought to begin in 1st millennium BCE and later on pushed to 2nd millennium BCE, and later on now they are saying that 3rd, but new excavations are saying that 4th. That means whatever the ideology, whatever the idea that we have regarding the starting of this Iron Age was far before what are the things that we had known till now. So because of this we can say that Iron Age started very early in India compared to that of other sites across the world. That is the thing that we have to remember. Someone says that it is first, and later on we got evidences from this Rajasthan and UP. They said that it started in 2nd millennium BC, and later on we got certain evidences in Tamil Nadu. So based on that we thought that yes, it started in this mid 3rd millennium BC, and recent excavation says that it had been started in 4th millennium BC. That means because of advancement in technology, what is happening, the time that had been done in the past, so that also had been gradually changing in India. So here, how can you use this point in your essay or in your answer regarding science and technology advancements? Can you use this point? So because of advancement in science and technology, can we predict date exactly? So because of this, can we draw actual line of our history or not? So for that also science and technology is very important in our country. And if you see about this Tamil Nadu's Iron Age, why it is oldest record globally. So we excavated certain sites. So please make a note of these sites. First one is Sivagalai. Iron related finds. They dated back to 3345 to 2953 BC. And this one is Mailadumparai. So here they got iron samples, and this one is Kilnamandi. So they found some burials in this area. So these are the sites which says that yes, Iron Age is the oldest which had been seen in India compared to that of other countries. Okay, so that is the thing you have to remember. And what is the impact of this Iron Age? So because of this Iron Age, what happened? So we came up with lots of technological and economic advancements across the world. So first one here is we got certain metallurgical advancements. So because of this metallurgy, so because of this equipment that we made by using these metals, that improved agriculture, not only agriculture, that improved warfare. Now we have this talwar swords made up of this iron. So because of this, what happens? Wars become very easy. And this one here is we have a good craftsmanship also after invention of iron. And this one is urbanization. So which period is called as first stage of urbanization in our country? IVC, Indus Valley Civilization. After that, the second stage of urbanization is seen in Mauryan period, right? So how it is possible? So it is possible because of this iron. Why? Because of expansion of area, expansion of agriculture, and as well as development of towns happened in this Ganga and Indo-Gangetic plain or Ganga Valley region because of this iron. So because of this iron, what happened? That led to the second stage of urbanization in our country. And not only that, we made lot of iron tools like hoes, plows, etc. that also boosted the productivity of agriculture, and as well as it also led to transformation in our social and economic structures as well. And as one is, it also led to the political and cultural influence. So because of this invention of iron, that led to this rise of Mahajanapadas. There were 16 Mahajanapadas at that time. So what is the reason? Reason is because of invention of iron. That led to clearing of lands, that led to improvement of agriculture. So because of this increased food security at that time, what happens? Empires had been expanded and that led to the formation of Mahajanapadas. And this one here is that led to improvement of art and culture also in our country, and even iron weapons, armor, chariots that transformed entire our military strategy. So because of this changing of military strategy, that led to vast expansion of empires at that time. Okay, clear? So these are the some impacts of this or advantages of this iron age in our country. And see this article guys, tribals in Ranchi rally against Kurmi's demand for ST status. Okay, first you have to know about who are these Kurmis. And now this protest is happening in which state? Ranchi is located in Jharkhand. Jharkhand capital is Ranchi. So everyone, do you know the states and capitals for sure? Yes? Okay, so now in this Jharkhand, this protest or rally is going on. Are these tribal groups only present in Jharkhand? No, they will be spread in different states. So you have to know in which states of our country we have this Kurmis. And actually why this protest is happening now? They are demanding for this scheduled tribe status now. That means what is the history of these people? Earlier, do they have this ST status or not? If yes, why they lost this ST status? If no, now why they are demanding for this ST status? You have to know this. So in your society also, we will be having one topic. What is the topic is about? Sanskritization, desanskritization. I said that high caste people are demanding for this ST category status. Example, we discussed about Marathas, Jats, etc. Right? So there also you can add this example. Kurmis in Jharkhand, they are also fighting for ST status. Why people will ask for ST status? What are the benefits that they are going to get? Reservation in education, reservation in employment. Next, they will be also eligible for government welfare schemes. So for that what happens? So these people are asking for this ST category status. So you have to know about history of these people. And next you have to see about what happens if they are going to get this ST status. You already studied in your society class, right? And online students, please do comment like in which states, which communities are fighting for this reservation or getting this ST category status, okay? Yeah, now let us see the context. Kurmis in West Bengal, Jharkhand and Odisha, they have revived their agitation demanding scheduled tribes. So they are present in how many states? 3 states, West Bengal, Jharkhand and Odisha. So people in all these states, they are fighting for this ST category status, but the protests are happening in this Jharkhand guys. And they are not only asking to get this ST category status, they are also having one more demand, that is they want to include this Kurmali language in 8th schedule of constitution. So they are having 2 demands. First one is they want to get ST category status. Second one is 8th schedule of Indian constitution, they have to include there. So what is this 8th schedule of Indian constitution? What it talks about? Official languages. So here did we discuss about the official languages in our society class? So what is the criteria? So when any language, what are the conditions that need to be satisfied for a language to get this 8th schedule? We discussed there. Older than uh, lighting, literature. So recall all those things like when a language will get this 8th schedule status. So you may get this question like this. Consider the following statements regarding 8th schedule. So which of the following languages added in this 8th schedule? That is the first type of prelims question. And second question is to get 8th schedule status for any language, which of the following criteria should be achieved? Okay, so in this way you can get two types of questions. You have to see that. I already discussed in our Indian society class. Okay, so they are asking two demands. First one is ST status, second one is 8th schedule status for their language. And you have to see what is the category for getting this scheduled tribe status. So actually I will be covering that topic in your SC and ST. I didn't did that, right? Okay, in that topic I will be covering like which community can get this ST status and which communities across India are fighting for this ST status. Okay, now let us see the details of this Kurmi tribe. Kurmi is also called as Kudmi community and they are historically agrarian and peasant community. Agrarian are nothing but they are farmers related communities. Actually, presently they comes under this OBC. What is this OBC? Are the backward caste in different states of our country. And now they are demanding for the scheduled tribe and they want to they are asking this scheduled tribe status because their religion is called as Sarna. Sarna is nothing but even today they focused on nature worshipping. Who will do nature worshipping? Especially tribal people will do nature worshipping, right? So based on that criteria, they are asking that we also comes into the scheduled tribe. Give us ST status. So now let us see in details. Okay, in West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha, and even in some parts of Bihar also we can see this people. And if you see the historical background in 1931 census, so when the census started in our country, during this British period itself, this census had been started, right? Exactly, can anyone tell me in which year the census started? Not 19, 18? Yes, in 1860s they came up and first census 1861. It will be one only. Think 1881. So check this once 1881 or 1871 or 1891. Okay. So actually we came up with this idea of the census during 1860s to 61 and first full-fledged census in India in which year? Please find it out. And in 1931 census, these people were listed as scheduled tribes. And after once we got independence without any notification, we removed that ST category status for that tribe. So because of this now they are fighting for this ST category status once again. Okay, so actually they played a very important role even during our freedom struggle and they played major role in this Chaur rebellion, Indigo rebellion, Santal uprising, Quit India movement, etc. Okay, so because of that at that British time they got this ST category status and after we got independence without giving any notification we removed their names under this list. And if you see the key features of these people, they depend on agrarian or they are like agriculture dependent communities of farmers and they mainly follow this nature worship. It is called as Sarna religion, especially they worship nature, hill, trees, etc. And they have distinct identity. Why they had been removed under this ST category status here is they claim that they are Kshatriyas. So who are Kshatriyas? Kshatriyas are warrior clan group. So because of this they were removed under this scheduled tribes category after we got independence. And the present status is they comes under this OBC category. Okay. And see this article guys. Thalassemia patients flag shortage of leukocyte filter sets iron chelation drugs. So this article is talking about thalassemia. What is this thalassemia? In this image you can clearly see it is related to blood. So in our blood how many kinds of blood cells are present? We have RBC, we have WBC and we have platelets. And here this image is clearly showing this is RBC, right? So normally what happens here in this thalassemia here is, okay, tell me guys what is the life cycle of this RBC, how many days it can live? 120 days. So it is for normal healthy RBC. So what is the shape of this RBC? It is disc or discoid shape. In this way, this shape of this RBC will be. So what happens in thalassemia? It is having like irregular outer surface. It is not that much tough. So because of this, what happens? There will be decreasing of life cycle or the life of this RBC. So there will be early death of RBC in the humans, and it is a genetic disorder. Genetic means nothing but it can be transmitted from one generation to another generation. So actually in this thalassemia, we need drugs for sure, guys. So we will use iron supplements. Okay. So what happens in this RBC if they are dying very early? So can we maintain proper hemoglobin level? No. If you are not maintaining proper hemoglobin level, can we ensure proper carrying of oxygen in our body to all the cells? Of course, no. So what happens in this thalassemia is the people will become very, very weak. Okay, because there is no proper hemoglobin content and oxygen carrying capacity in their blood. So for sure they need proper. What can we do in this thalassemia? We can go for transfusion of blood. Do you know this transfusion of blood? We can take the blood from this blood banks and we can go for transfusion of blood. And apart from that, we can take supplements so that we can produce more number of RBC in our body. And apart from that, we can go for iron, taking of iron supplements, right? So actually the problem here is, especially in this Kerala, these patients who are suffering with this thalassemia, they are not getting proper drugs they need to have. So there is shortage of these drugs to treat this thalassemia in this Kerala is happening. Is that good for the government? So what happens if government is not ensuring the proper drugs in the market? So can people maintain the proper health? No. Then what happens? People has to come outside their state and they have to purchase the medicines. Yes. So because of that, what about the state revenue will be increased or decreased? Decreased. What about this public trust on this government? Obviously it will be eroded. Yes. So now you guys tell me, if you are a district collector and if your area is having thalassemia, more number of cases of thalassemia, and people are facing this kind of drug shortage, then what steps that you can take to ensure proper availability of drugs to this thalassemia patients? Think and tell me, guys. What can you do? What can you do? How can you ensure? Will you sit silent in your office? I don't know anything. I don't care. Can you be that? Do you have that kind of attitude? Can you maintain that kind of attitude? No. Then what can you do? What can you do? Hmm? Think about this, because it is a very, very major issue in Kerala which is going on. So will people sit silent? Will what they'll do? They'll do protest against the government. Yes or no? If they're doing protest against the government, is that right? Can we maintain law and order? Again, you have to impose lots of sections to maintain law and order. Think and tell me, what can you do to ensure proper drugs? Today I will be giving you the case study on this topic. Please write that case study, okay? Yeah, see this context. So patients in this Kerala, they are not getting proper drugs which are used for this treatment of thalassemia. So because of this, they are doing like protest. So thalassemia is nothing but an inherited, that is nothing but genetic blood related disorder that reduces the body's ability to produce normal hemoglobin, and as well as what happens, there will be very less normal healthy hemoglobin and as well as RBC in the body. That will leads to obviously anemia, guys. So symptoms includes like growth issues we have delayed puberty, we have bone abnormalities, we have poor appetite. That is nothing but they will be not having that much ability to do all the works. And this one is they may also get frequent jaundice. So why does jaundice happens? Jaundice, what is the reason for this jaundice? What are the symptoms of jaundice? Yellow color eyes, yellow color urine, yellow color skin. Especially you can see as soon as baby born, within 2 to 3 days they will be getting jaundice and they will be kept under UV light, color light. Do you know this? What is the reason for this jaundice? Increased bilirubin level. That is improper function of uh, Yes, improper function of liver. So actually we need especially sunlight for making our liver activated as soon as birth. But actually what we'll do, will not come to the exposure of the sunlight. So because of this, normally pediatricians, they will suggest that as soon as birth happened, from the next day onwards, we have to keep the baby in this early sunlight. Do you know this? Around 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That means nothing but because of getting that sunlight, our body systems will be getting activated. So if our body system is not getting activated, what happens? There will be increased bilirubin concentration in our blood, that will be not eliminated properly in the urine. So because of that, bilirubin pigment is yellow in color. So because of that pigment which is accumulating in our body, that will lead to this yellowish color of your skin, especially eyes. You can see yellowish color of eyes, like that. Okay. So see here in this thalassemia, we have two types of thalassemia. First one is alpha thalassemia and second one is beta thalassemia. Alpha thalassemia is caused because of this defective alpha globin genes, and beta thalassemia is because of defective beta globulin genes. And approximately around 280 million people worldwide, they are affected by this thalassemia, guys. Across the world, 280 million people, guys. That means we need to have the proper proper drugs to treat this for sure. If there is no proper availability of drugs, obviously it will be affecting huge population across the world. And say this article, guys, natural farming gains traction in Himachal Pradesh. What is the keyword? Keyword is natural farming. So here you have to see what this natural farming is about and what are the advantages of this natural farming. So what is the meaning of natural farming? You know what is farming? Farming is nothing but doing agriculture, right? What is this natural farming? Without any chemicals, we are going for farming naturally. Then what is organic farming? Is there any difference between natural farming and organic farming? What is organic farming? So there they'll use insecticide, pesticides, etc. But they are organic. For example, they'll use cow dung as fertilizer, and they'll use natural manure, and they'll use this neem oil. Do you know this neem oil? That is having antifungal, antibacterial properties. So they will be using that kind of insecticides and pesticides and fertilizers which are like organic. They'll contain carbon and hydrogen related things. So but in this natural farming, we won't use anything. For example, you can take our terrace gardening, or else you can see, like, if you're from village areas, in your balcony you'll be having fruits, especially fruit trees, right? And even we have vegetable related some small plants, and we will go for growing of leafy vegetables, right? So that kind of farming where we are not using anything from outside, that is called as natural. So here we'll be seeing this, we'll be hearing this thing, natural ga pandindi, without any pesticides, without any fertilizers, we grown this. It is natural fruit, that is called as natural farming. So now this article is saying that natural farming gains traction in Himachal Pradesh. So if you are going for this natural farming, do we have any advantages? Do we have any advantages? What are they? Okay, climate change is happening. So because of this native plants will be more strong and they will give produce. Next. Is there any increasing or decreasing of input cost for the farmer? Yes, what happens? Increase or decrease? There will be decreasing of input cost for the farmers. There is no need of buying of fertilizers, pesticides now. Next. What about chemicals? What are the food that we are eating? Do they have any chemicals? They are free from chemicals. So because of this, what happened? There is less contamination and we can enhance the health of the people. Next. Yes, burden on government is also decreased. Why burden on government is decreased? Yes, government will be providing fertilizers at a subsidized price, especially urea, DAP, right? So now there is no need of fertilizers for this natural farming. So that will also reduce burden on government. Next. Come on, tell me. Next, other advantages, guys. Yes, soil fertility can also maintain. Next, input cost will be reduced. And what about eutrophication? What is eutrophication concept? So, yeah, whenever we are spraying more fertilizers, what happens if there is any rainfall? that will be runned off and that will be entering into nearby lakes and ponds. What happens if there is more nutrients in the water? Have you seen this green color? Sometimes the ponds and lakes will be like fully bright green color. It is nothing but algal bloom. That concept is called as eutrophication. So we can also reduce that pollution of water by this going towards this natural farming. So you have to think in all dimensions, guys. Okay, now let us see this article. Nowadays in Himachal Pradesh, they are shifting towards natural farming, and actually 60% of population of this Himachal Pradesh, they are dependent on this natural farming, and they are focusing on chemical free methods. Okay, so what happens if you see this geography of this Himachal Pradesh? Is it a Himalayan state or not? Yes. If it is a Himalayan state, what it is rich for? It is having rich glaciers, rich perennial rivers, next rich scenic beauty, and it is also an example of tourist site, yes or no? So because of this natural farming, can we enhance the overall economic value of that state? We can maintain good water which is free of chemicals if you are going for this natural farming, and we can also furthermore increase the scenic beauty of this area so that we can furthermore attract tourism in these areas, right? Okay, see here. Natural farming is a chemical free traditional farming method which relies on minimal external inputs, and they are focused on especially sustainability in this agriculture if you are going for this natural farming. And what is significant? The first one here is we can reduce our import bill, especially we are importing most of our fertilizers from other countries. We can decrease our import bill and we can save our forex reserves. And around 1.3 trillion rupees that we are paying for just only for fertilizer, guys. So if we are moving towards this natural farming, obviously we can reduce that. And next one is we can improve small and marginal farmers' income. Yes or no? We are going to decrease this input cost. That will lead to increasing of income for this farmers. And this one is we can reduce dependence on credit. So if they want to get this inputs, obviously farmers has to go to either money lenders or banks to get the credits, right? So if there is limited cost, then what happens? There is no need of going for getting of credit, right? And this one is it is more flexible than organic farming, and even it is also having benefit to the end customers or consumers, because if you want to go for certified organic foods, the cost will be very high. Is that affordable for everyone to buy certified organic foods? So rather than that, natural farming can be like very safe, and even there will be very minimized or sometimes no chemicals also. And next one is we are also going to have environmental and as well as overall health benefits, and we can also reduce ocean acidification. Why? Because we are going to eliminate this chemicals which are going to end up in this water. And next one is obviously we have health benefits. Clear? And this article is about Great Nicobar project, guys. Many a times we discussed about this. So just see about what is this Great Nicobar project and what are the features of this project and how it is going to have impacts. So recently we discussed about this Great Nicobar project regarding tribes. Why? So which tribes are to be completely displaced because of this project? Recently, Tribal Council also gave a statement that without intimation, so what happened, the environment impact assessment is done and environment clearance also got. So see that current affairs, okay, so recently what we did. And see this next article, guys. Okay, yeah, this is the last article. Yeah, so make notes for this, guys. So these are the important topics that happened in our today's Hindi newspaper by some concluding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and please do like this class and share this class to your friends, and do subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, don't forget. And you can also follow us on our Telegram channel where we are providing the notes of this class. And apart from that, you can also follow us on our Instagram page where we are providing prelims question with answer and mains question with model answer, and also current affairs in short, guys. Don't miss this.